CyberLink's Master Series webinar, AI and Face Biometrics to secure large facilities in the age of COVID-19. The event is sponsored by Advantech and CyberLink. My name is Jay Chang again. I'm the VP of Business Development at CyberLink. I will be the person acting as the facilitator for today's session. Our speakers today will present innovative contactless technologies that help create safe and secure environments. So without further ado, allow me to just go around the room and introduce our panelists. Richard, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Richard Carrier. I'm head of global marketing for CyberLink, also head of CyberLink for the Americas.
Hi, my name is Jay Liston. I'm the North American Business Alliances Director for Advantech. I've been at Advantech 5 years.
Yes, this is Charlie Wu. I'm the product line manager and also the product group manager for the embedded system computing and also the AI solutions using Advantech. I've been with Advantech for 20 years.
Okay, so first up we have Richard. He's going to present on behalf of CyberLink. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass it on Richard. Richard, take it away.
Okay, thank you. So what I will do is give first some industry highlights as it relates to large facilities, manufacturers, and warehousing facilities. Then I will present some of FaceMe's solutions that are relevant to the space. So first, no question here. All of you participating are quite familiar, I'm sure. There's a huge opportunity. Just look at the sheer number of factories and warehouse facilities in the US. The capital expenditures every year, that's over $360 billion. And the $40+ billion spent annually on security services. There's a lot of value in anything that will enable reduction of costs, their increase in efficiencies. And we have technologies that we'll present today that shows that. So you look at factories, warehousing facilities, there's three types of issues that can be addressed with what we'll present. So edge-based computing, biometrics. So there's overall security, there's operations tracking, and health and safety. And in today's world, there's lots of inefficiencies related to complex legacy systems, lack of integration. A lot of things are human intensive as it relates to security. There's multiple points of failure, and it's very expensive. And on top of that, since March this year, COVID-19 has created a complete new set of issues around health checks, social distancing and masks, physical contacts that need to be minimized, cleaning, disinfection. So that makes challenges for the industry, but also creates opportunities to adopt faster technologies that address them. So if we take each of the three categories I mentioned, security, key issues that exist regardless of COVID, so employee access and where they go across facilities, where they have access or not within plants, big issue. Monitoring visitors, delivery and pickup, there's a lot of people coming in and out of these plants. Perimeter monitoring, block list alerts, asset safekeeping and protection, these are all big deals. Add to that COVID that requires to reduce human interactions and minimize contacts with shared services. And you have a whole set of issues that are opportunities. Now, if we talk about operations tracking, you want to improve efficiency. So time clock for employees, how can you make it faster, more accurate? How do you want to follow employees where they are at any time on the plant, especially when they are sensitive matters areas, tracking machinery equipment, make sure that they are used properly by the right people, the right amount of times, visitor and delivery, truck tracking, a lot of movements you want to track. And also, how can you do all that contactless so that you minimize spread of viruses? Now bring to that health and safety. There's a big deal in many places in terms of how much time employees can spend operating specific machinery equipment. So this is how can we track that properly? How can we track who's in contact with potentially hazardous substances or conditions and how long? So being able to track somebody walking a freezer facility. If they have not walked out after an hour, you might want to go check if they're not in hypothermia. Then add to that COVID. So how can you track, make sure that mask compliance is good and any lack of compliance is identified right away to can take care of, monitor high body temperature, enforce social distancing, and also eliminate all avoidable physical contacts. So if you can automate a lot of the process, you reduce physical contacts. And on top of that, you make things contactless. And these are some of the things that our technology can address. So a little bit of future outlook. Right now, a lot of organizations are at the pilot stage with different projects. We feel that in the very near future, we're seeing already a move beyond these pilot projects to implement technologies that help throughout facilities. Edge-based solutions are becoming better and better, and our friends at Advantech will talk about that. And so you have better solutions, reduce costs, chipsets and hardware are becoming much more available, so that all drives demand. And then look just a little bit further, and 5G will open the door to not only enclosed facilities, but also very large facilities, as well as moving equipment, offsite activities. So these are some of the things that we're seeing. Okay, enough for the industry outlook. Now let me introduce FaceMe to all of you. What is FaceMe? It's the world's top cross-platform AI facial recognition engine. It is one of the most accurate in the world with 99.7% accuracy according to NIST. So when you don't count some solutions from China and Russia, which cannot really be marketed outside of their home market, we're in the top 5 in terms of accuracy alone. Now add to that the fact that the solution is edge-based, so extremely fast and secure, so it doesn't rely on cloud. And already the first aspect of accuracy security places FaceMe on a category of its own. Now add the fact that it is optimized across platforms. So not just running on platforms, but really optimized on Windows, Linux, Android, iOS, in fact, several flavors of Linux that can be integrated on all sorts of IoT equipment, PCs, workstations, mobile devices, and can be also optimized for all the features we have, depending on the needs that you have versus the equipment that you have. So we have different models that requires more or less power, speed, and you can do a trade-off between accuracy and speed. The features of FaceMe can detect faces, so how many faces are in front of a camera. It can recognize faces when connected to a database, and this is in a few milliseconds. It can identify face attributes such as mood, age, gender. We have image pre-processing technologies called True Theater that are very important as they correct problems with camera lens quality, lighting, or other issues. So basically minimizing all sorts of bias for skin complexion, gender, and others. It also embeds anti-spoofing, both 2D and 3D, so you cannot just flash a picture or a video of somebody. And also we added the ability to detect if someone is wearing a mask properly on their face. And we can do facial recognition with a precision level of over 95%, even when somebody wears a mask. So let me show a quick video that will demonstrate this technology. Okay, so as you see, this is pretty simple, but it opens the door to many, many opportunities. Now, let me present some of our key solutions as well as a few illustrative use cases. I'll talk about FaceMe security which is addressing horizontally security across different areas. For COVID-19, we have that solution called FaceMe Health, and I will also show afterwards how it can be relevant to factories, warehouses, and plants. So first, FaceMe Security, and here we have a very interesting implementation in partnership with Advantech, where basically it's a turnkey software that you install on workstations that can be running Nvidia GPU, Intel VPU, or any CPU. You run the software, you plug IP cameras, and you connect to a server, central server for enrollment for the Faces database, and then the output goes to notifications and other services. It's all very simple, extremely scalable. For example, in typical facility, you could have up to 300 cameras with medium traffic in front of it, and all it would require is 2 workstations from Advantech. And it's infinitely scalable for one location or multi-location. We recently added, what's new here is a plugin for FaceMe Health, which if you connect thermal cameras, also measure body temperature, can do mass detection, and other important things. So this is a solution that's very flexible, very easy to deploy in small facilities or even in very large facilities. Here's a demo. Okay, now let's talk about health. So as I mentioned, we have this solution called FaceMe Health that does mask detection, and you'll see in the demo in a moment, make sure that the mask is properly worn and not just like showing in the face. You cannot spoof it either. It can do facial recognition when someone wears a mask, and also integrates temperature measurement. So somebody who has elevated body temperature can be tracked, and things can be taken care of. Okay, this is FaceMe Health. So when you blend together FaceMe Security and FaceMe Health, one thing that's interesting about the solution is that we have a set of alerts that could be instantly sent to the right people depending on the situation. So you don't have a big alarm bell that needs to ring if something happens. If it's just a visitor, delivery person, you can have a notification to go greet that person where they are. For employee attendance, people can just walk in the plant in the morning, and if you have a few cameras, and they can be clocked in, clocked out when they leave instantly. People who are on a block list, they can automatically send a notification to security or a stranger and also health alerts. So somebody is not wearing their mask or the temperature is elevated, so you have a way to identify the person and somebody can go and handle the case. Okay, so these are the solutions that we say have software, but also FaceMe exists as an SDK. And there you can use it in the context of manufacturing and warehousing with an integrated customized solution. So you could use the SDK, include it to the existing camera system, add a few cameras, and suddenly you have an entire edge-based, facial recognition-based on-premise security. You can monitor the delivery checkpoints, machinery, equipment sign-in, visitor management, employee access, security, intruder alerts, health screening, all in one. So all the issues that I brought at the beginning can be solved with such a solution just by implementing it with a few good computers like the ones from Advantech and our solution. We can have point solutions. So if all you want to do is measure door access, pretty easy to have automated visitor access, employees, and have the built-in alerts that you saw earlier, depending on who's showing up and who's granted access or not. Delivery and pickup management, we can fully automate gate access, monitor the time that someone, a truck driver, for example, spends in the facilities, have built-in alerts. Same with employee clock-in. You can have edge-based point solutions for time and attendance just using face, so it's contactless and it's instantaneous to monitor access. We also, through some of our partners, we have health kiosks available that could be placed at the entrance of any facility. And there we'll do contactless authentication, detect masks, temperature, and do access control. In the case of the kiosk you see on the picture is from one of our partners named MPS. It will also ask people a few questions about their health situation, and all they have to do is nod their head or shake it for yes or no. And it will also dispense hand sanitizer, all this before access is granted. So it's an example of the flexibility of our technology. And finally, another point solution is FaceMe can be integrated in any machinery, equipment, computers, mobile device, so it can authenticate users, do user statistics, track where devices are, and also can alert for any unauthorized usage. In conclusion, FaceMe offers a complete set of solutions for factories and warehousing facilities. We have our flexible SDK that can enable comprehensive systems. We have cutting-edge security access and COVID-19 solutions. So we have all these features that exist already in the SDK. We can have a number of contactless and obtrusive use cases. And on top of that, we have the turnkey software, FaceMe Security and FaceMe Health, that are both optimized on Advantech hardware and can be deployed very easily without a system integrator. So this edge-based cross-platform technology results in a cost-effective, robust deployment and easy maintenance. So thank you very much. With this, I will pass the screen to Jay from Advantech.
Right, thanks, Richard. That was awesome, and thank you very much. I'm going to introduce myself, and I'll just take a couple minutes here before I turn it over to my colleague, Charlie. So let me get this going for you here. Just a second, get into presentation mode for you. So my name is Jay Liston. I am the North American Director of Business Alliances. So part of my job is to deal with our ecosystem partners, of which you just heard some really cool stuff going on with CyberLink, and we are partnering with them as we move forward. So I want to take a little bit of time. It's an easy job for me to talk a little bit about Advantech. I've been here 5 years, and great company. One of the things that since I've been here has been just to me the shining example of what Advantech is all about. Excuse me. And that is our founder and our leader and our CEO is Casey Liu. So 1983, him and a couple of buddies broke off from HP and started a computer company, which turned into an IPC company, industrial PCs. And to this day, Casey is still the leader of our company. He's out in front. The direction, the strategy, the activity that he puts in place there is certainly something that is inspiring to the whole company. And I think it's pretty cool to have somebody who's the director, the leader, the CEO for that many years is still leading the way for us. And I think what that does for us as a company is it sets the tone for our intensity, the strategy, and the things that we like to do together. So that's a great thing. And because of that, growing from 3 people back in 1983 to a company who in 2019 we had, $1.8 billion in revenue in 2019. We are still the world's largest IPC company, industrial PC. 32% of the marketplace is us, and I believe any of our competitors are less than 10%. So as we move through the 8,000 employees, if you look at, again, Casey started this back in 1983, 8,000 employees now, quite a legacy and quite a strong company. We look to be a $2 billion company here shortly once the pandemic stuff goes away for us. We own our own manufacturing in China and in Taipei, and that, as us, gives us a lot of flexibility, a lot of things on our side that we can do to make it a better company to deal with. You see down on the left, 1,500 standard products. It's the largest product offering of anybody as an IPC vendor. We do a lot of customizations. I think over 60% of what we do is some sort of customization. And 97%, as you see there, is the brand inside the brand of what's happening with our company. The last thing I want to talk about is our key ecosystem partners. We have partnerships with Intel, we have partnerships with Microsoft and others, and CyberLink is one of those. And we work together to build solutions with our partners so customers, and end users, and anybody out there can use our worldwide offices. As you see in the right, we're worldwide and available anywhere as a company that is out there for you to be able to deal with. So apologies for the I believe this thing is on a timer of some sort, but that's a little bit about Advantech. So that's all I have to talk about today. Appreciate your time and looking forward to turning it over now next to our good friend, Charlie Wu. So let me stop sharing and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Charlie. There you go, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Jay. This is Charlie, and I'm the product group manager for the System Solution Group. And within the group, we have many different hardware solutions, but today I'm going to talk specifically about the AI-related solutions and the FaceView software that's provided by CyberLink. So FaceView is actually a licensed version of the FaceMe software, and yeah, it does provide the same real-time identification. It provides analytic dashboard, event notification, and comes with a software development kit integrated as well. The license version is currently on one-on-one basis, and based on my conversation with our headquarters, I understand that we have some kind of development to have some like a server level software that will be able to monitor and manage multiple units together at the same time. So those information will become available later part of this year. And the hardware solution that we have is currently based on the Intel Nvidia. That's the one that's under my direction. So we have modules, we have systems, and those are based on the latest version called the Nvidia's Myriax. We have the solution. The idea is to be a easy integrated solution, allowing our customers to do AI rendering, facial recognition, or other graphic processing applications. Here's a quick overview on how that particular solution does help on optimizing the facial recognition or other AI-related performance. When running with the FaceView in particular, on the left side, based on different resolution, you can see that the response time for the system has improved tenfold. So instead of on average taking more than 3,300 milliseconds to respond, it got reduced to 299 or 213 milliseconds. And as far as CPU usage goes, it reduces CPU usage from pretty much full usage, 99 to 98%, down to 68 and 61%. That means for this type of application, it will help the system response time, and at the same time also reduce the system power consumption. So that will be a win-win for allowing the system to process faster, and also with reduced heat also allow the system to operate longer, so the component does not degrade as fast, and at the same time allowing less power consumption, especially if the system is running on, say, battery power. So this is the current lineup of the different modules that we currently have, and we call that the Vega 300 series AI modules. We have the Vega 320 that's based on the M.2 2230 form factor, and also we have the Vega 330 that can support dual Myra-X VPU and is based on the full-size mini PCI Express module. The Vega 340 can support either 4 or 8 VPU depending on the model that you purchase, and it is a PCIe by 4 form factor. The one on the right-hand side, the Vega 341, is currently under development. That will be the next generation of the Movidius VPU. We will provide more information as soon as the development information becomes more available. Now, please understand that these modules, especially the Vega 320 and 330, the M.2 and mini PCIe, due to each of the Myra-X VPU does have a 4-watt thermal power design that needs to be taken care of. So unfortunately, they are not like the Wi-Fi module or wireless module that you put into your laptop or mobile device, which is pretty much plug and play. There will be some kind of thermal solution that you will need to implement in order to remove the heat generated by the VPU. How to use it? Obviously, Advantech, as mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of hardware solutions, though the solution that I'm managing are mostly system, but we also do have a lot of board level solutions. And you can easily utilize our Vega module combined with different form factor of the single board computers and create a AI solution, put it into a design enclosure, then you have your complete AI hardware solution. For example, for single board computer, we do have Pico ITX form factor. We do have the more traditional 3.5-inch single board computer, mini ITX computer board, micro ATX computer board, and of course, of the system that allows you to plug in different type of modules in there to create that AI capability. Now, of course, for some of the customer who would prefer to have a fully integrated system, so all they have to do is plug it in, turn on the power, and do some development from the get-go. Then we have the AIR series of the computer boxes. For example, the AIR 100 is actually based on a digital signage computer that we have, and it will support 3 4K display via HDMI. It's cost effective, and it has the Vega 321 VPU inside, and it can be used for interactive kiosk, electronic whiteboard, and some of the other signage related AI solutions. Then we have the AIR 101, which is based on one of our industrial embedded computer, in-rail user-friendly, can be implemented into a supply cabinet or into a embedded system, for example, automated guided vehicle or factory automation. The size of the unit is literally about the size of your palm. It's a very compact unit and can fit into very different places. We also have the AIR 200 that is based on the surveillance system that we have and is supporting the 6th generation Intel Core i solutions inside. It's plenty powerful and can run with extended temperature capability that allows it to be put into the outdoor environment and can be used for intelligent transportation, traffic monitoring, those type of applications. Then we have the AIR 300, which is a powerhouse based on the desktop CPU, but still running fanless on the computer part. Obviously, when you put high-end graphic cards inside, it will require a system fan to dissipate all the heat. And it has a PCI Express by 16, so you can support the Vega 340 or any of the high-end PCI Express by 16 VPU card coming from Nvidia or other sources, and they can all support the face view software implemented onto the system for the facial recognition applications that your customer needs. So in this case, we do see the possible application scenario, including inside the building that can be utilizing for contactless elevator or various access of the security part of the building. And the retail, as Richard just presented earlier, it can be used for social distancing and mask detection, although we do understand, especially for retail environment, it's more so a friendly reminder for the shoppers to please keep the mask on, and it will be up to the store to implement additional security measures to make sure that the customer does comply. For factory, we certainly do not want the employees to access machines that they don't know how to use and may cause more damage than doing good. So the facial recognition application can be used to control access of sensitive and expensive equipment, and can also use to control areas where expensive raw material or sensitive materials are being stored, so only certain people can access it. Transportation is also another possibility, showing on the picture right now an autonomous vehicle, autonomous bus to be more exact, and you can count how many people, so big data study, like a bus route utilization to determine if they need to send out more buses during a certain time to transport people. And at the same time, it can also be used to detect who is on the bus. And as long as they register accordingly, they can actually pay the fare without actually having to take their wallet out. That's also another possible scenario. On the assistant hardware architecture, many of our system does have the capability to connect to either IP cameras or web cameras via various interfaces available on the hardware system. And the face view software will be resided locally to process the graphic data that comes through from the different cameras, and then can do immediate reaction. So that's one thing about having some of the capability local can help on the response time. You don't have to wait for the cloud to get back. So you can allow access to the machine, you can allow access to the different part of the building, different area of the building. Those can all be done on the local level. But the data collected, like who went to access for certain things and grabbed other things, or how many people are not following the mask mandates and not following the social distancing, those can become the collected data. Then that can be sent up to the system server for more detailed study of the overall trend. Is people starting to losing their focus? Are they starting to become more complacent and not keeping their social distancing, not keeping their software on properly? Those can be done with the data collected with the combo of the face view software and installed it into the Advantech hardware with AI capability. So this is a use case that has been implemented in Asia and is a touchless control system for the elevator. So especially given the COVID-19 situation, your hand certainly does not want to be touching where everybody else has been touching, and they may or may not be infected with the virus. So the use case has a camera pointing at the front of the elevator. This is more designed to be used for like a high-tech company that handles sensitive technology, or even military technology company where they certainly don't want people to go into the part of a building or different part of a floor without proper access. By facial recognition, they can know who you are, then allowing you to go into the elevator. Then based on that one, the system controlling the elevator also has a camera inside the elevator to inform you, and at the same time control at which floor that you have access to. And of course, if you decide to get off that floor that you do not have access to, along with other people who have access to that floor, then security can be immediately dispatched to handle the situation for people trying to access area they are not authorized to do so. So it allows contactless operation, and it allows better security as well. So those are all the different use case, different scenarios that combining the Advantech hardware and CyberLink software can be achieved for us creating a good solution for your customer's application. And with that, I will return the podium back to Jay, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Charlie. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of our panelists, Richard, Jay, Charlie. I think it's been great that you guys, are on the session with us, kind of sharing some of the technologies that can be utilized in the pandemic, right? Especially all those things can apply in different verticals, and we're actually seeing a lot of uptake. Distribution channel and our VAR partners have all been asking the same questions, right? How do we, assist our customers in actually opening back up, either being school campuses, buildings, enterprise offices, and things like that, retailers. So all of those things actually do apply to multiple verticals. So we did see some questions come in the chat. So let me introduce Craig Campbell. Craig Campbell, he is our sales engineering manager. He's going to be the moderator for the Q&A session. Craig?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that great demonstration, everyone. So we do have a few questions here. So from the audience, we wanted to know what is the constraint on the type of mask your system can detect with your facial recognition solution?
Okay, so I'll take that one. It's actually pretty good. The algorithm can detect any kind of normal acceptable masks, whether it is a medical mask, whether it is a face cover that covers properly the nose and mouth. What it will do, however, if you try to spoof it, like putting your hand in front of your mouth and nose, it's not going to detect it. In that sense, the system is quite flexible and adequate.
Great, thank you. This one, I believe, is for Advantech. You have mentioned VEGA series Movidius modules are not plug and play due to thermal concern. Is there an easy way to adopt it from thermal design standpoint?
Yes, so as you can see on the earlier slides, the Vega 340, which is the PCIe by 4, already have a thermal solution. So we can, the one that we have concerned more about will be the Vega 320 and 330 based on the M.2 and Mini PCI Express. It comes standard with a heatsink for development purposes, but at the same time, it also has a optional heat spreader plate, and in which case you can use that as a bridge to contact to the outer surface to help dissipate the heat. Obviously, the mechanical information can also be acquired from us. So if you want to design a custom enclosure, some kind of solution specifically for your need, we have absolutely no problem providing those information to you.
Okay. Another one for Advantech. Does Advantech offer Nvidia GPU-based solutions as well?
Yes. Since the solution under my management is mostly Intel solution, but we do have, for example, the AR300, it has the PCI Express by 16 slot to handle the high-end BPU card, and that can be coming from Nvidia. We also have other industrial PCs that are currently under development, and one of them are designed in a sense to handle up to 2 Nvidia high-end BPU cards. On top of that, we also have additional integrated systems that's based on the Nvidia Jetson platform. So those can also be an available option for running the CyberLink software.
Okay. And this one I think you both should be able to respond to. So if you would, what demand are you seeing in the retail market in adopting these solutions for COVID-19 purposes?
Okay, I can go first. So yeah, at our end, through some of our partners, I was mentioning kiosk manufacturer, MPS, Already we see deployment in some shopping malls in the US where in this case they use for employees who come in the morning, so they measure the temperature, make sure they wear the mask, and they print basically a band, a wristband, so that they are cleared for the day. So that's one thing we're seeing already. And otherwise, through our channel partners, we have increasing demand for individual retail stores to have also these kinds of kiosks put at the entrance so they can measure body temperature, check masks, and send alerts if there's anything. Where we have discussion, we don't have necessarily deployments we can point to, is more integrated systems. So using the network of existing IP cameras and servers, how can you measure, check for people wearing masks, adding thermal cameras to check body temperature. These are the kind of things that we're working through some of our partners, however. Yeah.
And could you respond as well to that, Charlie? Or
yeah, sure. So from what my understanding, the solution is being looked after, then being sought after, and I know that there are some major retail chains has been in contact with Advantech, and they want to implement the combination of the software and hardware from Advantech that allows them to do both the face mask and also body temperature detecting. I mean, I went to a local supermarket, not a major chain supermarket, and they actually have a security personnel using one of those handheld IR temperature detector and pointing at your forehead. It feels like somebody's pointing a gun at me, so to speak. So not making me really feeling comfortable, but having an automated system is certainly easier in comparison to having to have somebody stationed there and pretty much doing nothing else but just measuring people's temperature.
Very good point. I think we all prefer to have a frictionless entry than a gun pointed to our head. Next question. So I think this also can be directed to both of you. What model cameras are required to be used with your solutions? I know you showed in your display some Vivotech cameras, but are they required just to be Vivotech, or can they be any model camera?
Okay, I can go first. So when it comes to facial recognition, mask detection, literally it can be any camera, any IP camera or a connected camera. So it could be a simple like a camera connected to a PC in a small installation would work, as long as resolution is typically at least 720p. So that's the requirement. Of course, we have strategic partners who were mentioning Vivotech. We also are partnering with companies like Hikvision and FLIR for thermal cameras, and there are models from other manufacturers where we do some testing. But generally speaking, it will work for any camera that can plug into a computer.
Well, looks like Richard has answered the question for everybody, right? From our perspective, it really depending on what customers are looking for. And from Advantech's perspective, one of the key issue that we do see from the camera market is that typically the longevity of those cameras are not all that great. All right, so I'm still pushing our headquarters and also our local sourcing to see if we can find a reliable source, but as far as just either IP camera goes or infrared camera. But other than that is we are dealing with that pretty much on a case-to-case basis based on customers' requirement.
Right. Only a few more questions. What makes FaceMe the world's top cross-platform AI facial recognition engine?
Okay, I like this question. I mentioned it at the beginning of my presentation, but I think it's the combination of the very high level of accuracy, the speed and security of the edge-based architecture, combined with the fact that the SDK can run on literally any OS and can be optimized, not just run, but optimized on OS. Almost all solutions out there, they will run on one or two OS and that's it, and they're not necessarily optimized. Then on top of that, add the sheer number of features we offer, as we showed you today. It's not just about recognizing somebody or if they're smiling, there's a whole lot more. and the optimization that happens through partnerships with Intel, Nvidia, and others, or work with partners like Advantech with camera makers, so that it is optimized for literally any configuration. So whether it's some customized AIoT device that it runs on low power chipsets, or powerful workstations like some of the Advantech offerings that are connected in a large facility. And you can also run on different models. So we have a different level of precision versus size of the database versus the power required for FaceMe. So that depending if you want to protect Fort Knox versus monitoring home access or measuring masks in a small shop, you can find a solution that best matches budget, hardware, and the needs. So when you bring it all together, there's literally no other solution in the market that checks all these boxes.
Right, very last question. I'm sure all of our participants are waiting for this answer, and I think we need it from both of you. How can we try your products, both the FaceMe and Advantech products? So if we can start off with FaceMe.
Yeah, so FaceMe, all you have to do is contact us. You have the contact at the end of the webinar. We will also follow up, and you contact us. We can give you a evaluation version of the SDK that runs on the platform you want, so you can do your own assessment and engage with our team. We'll be more than happy to do that.
Okay, so from Advantech's side, we actually have two different possibilities. During the presentation, I have provided the different product called the AIR series. Those are the integrated solutions, so you don't have to worry about try to put like which board goes with which modules, which chassis. All you have to do is to select which particular performance level you want, both from the CPU and how many VPUs you need. Our sales force will be able to assist you, so you can kind of do minor configuration on how much DRAM and how much storage that you need. But if you want a completely configured system, including DRAM, storage, operating system, all included, there's one particular product that I forgot to put on the slide. It's called the EI-A as an Alpha 100. So that is a fully integrated system, everything included, including CyberLink's face view software. The Advantech version is all preloaded on that system, so you can start your development immediately.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much for your answers and for your participation today. It was a great help.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining. As we're about to conclude our session today, just want to remind everyone that this is a series of webinars, right? So today's the very first one. 3 weeks from today, we will have another one that basically focuses on airport and transportation needs in the pandemics. I think that would be a great one for everyone to actually re-engage with us as well. In the meantime, I also like to share, thank everyone. I'd like to share the fact that we will be sharing the link of this video in the next 48 hours. So in the case when you did miss parts of the presentation, that you'll be able to actually go back at it and rewatch it again. So as I said earlier, I will be sharing contact details from Advantech and CyberLink as we conclude the presentation. So you guys can stay on, take a screenshot. If you like, feel free to reach back out to us as we conclude today's webinar. Thank you very much.